welcome to another Tips on Tuesday. This week we're going to be exploring what happens if you decide to go jumping a new drop zone, especially if you're going abroad. Given it's that time of year now where most of us Brits decide to go for warmer climes, if this is the first time you've ever travelled abroad to jump, there's a few things that might be useful to know before you leave. Wherever it is in the world you're travelling to, the first thing you're going to need to do when you get there is show your equipment and your documentation. This is to A, make sure you are who you say you are, and that you have got the licenses you say you've got, along with any qualifications, but also to make sure that you're insured and safe to jump in that DZ. If you're taking your own equipment out there, then the DZ will also want to look at this. And they'll basically do the same as you would do if you were doing a hands-on check with your gear, checking that the kit is functional, it looks like it's packed and serviceable, and also it matches the reserve documents and the reserve pack is in date. There are some special rules that apply in different countries. So if you're traveling to the US, your reserve must have been packed by a USPA FAA qualified rigger and sealed accordingly. That seal will then be checked against the FAA's database to make sure the person that packed it is a qualified FAA rigger. If it isn't, there's a good chance that they'll make you get a reserve repack done locally by one of their riggers. You can help prepare for your visit to a new DZ by having a look at their website and gaining as much information you can about things such as jump prices, local jump conditions, what aircraft types they use, that sort of thing, anything else that might be useful for you when you visit. Now, one tip that I like to use is to actually do some homework before I go and check out the actual airfield and the surrounding area on Google Maps. This means it's not all new to me when I first get there and get a DZ brief, but also it means I'm not seeing it for the first time when I get out of the aircraft. Most places that you go to will insist on giving you a DZ briefing before you're allowed to jump. But if they don't, ask for one. There's nothing worse than getting on the aircraft not knowing what the rules are or where you're supposed to be landing. Nowadays, more and more drop zones are actually putting their DZ briefings online, so you can either watch them when you arrive or preferably before you get there. All this is really useful for helping to prepare you for your visit. Another key piece of information is the aircraft type that they operate at the DZ you're visiting. It may well be different to what you're used to jumping at your home DZ. And even if it's the same aircraft type, there may be different rules and different things that you need to know about how they operate the aircraft safely at this DZ. Things such as how the door opens and when it's safe to exit the aircraft and what signals are used. So in this example, you'll see a visiting jumper who clearly didn't get that information beforehand and actually exited before the aircraft was in the correct configuration for the jump. Other things that may be different include manifesting and how that works, flight line check-in and whether they actually carry out flight line checks, or as is the case in some countries, you're responsible for checking your own gear before you board the aircraft. Remember, you don't have the safety net of being on your home DZ where there's very strict rules in place. You may also find that the order that you board the aircraft and exit orders may differ to what you're used to. So find out this information and help to fit in to the safe operation of that DZ. One of the best things about going abroad to a new DZ is getting to skydive with people you've never met before from all over the world. This can be a great and positive experience and really help your skydiving journey. Bear in mind, different countries have different rules about who can jump with who. So you may find yourself in a position where you're being asked if you want to jump with somebody who is not much more experienced than you or wouldn't be allowed to jump with you back home, due to their experience level or yours. Always take this with a healthy pinch of salt and make sure that you stay within your comfort zone and, more importantly, within your abilities. If you want to push that, ask at the DZ and find out who the local coaches are, or if there's load organising available, speak to the load organiser and give them an overview of what it is you'd like to do and what experience level you're at. And usually they'll try and find something that can stretch you, but at the same time, keep you safe. One of the biggest differences you'll find jumping abroad is that you'll be expected to take a lot more personal responsibility, both for yourself and your equipment. So in order to keep yourself and all the other people in the air with you safe, it's important that you learn what the local rules are, and if you're not sure, ask. Either way, it can be a really great experience going to a new DZ and jumping with people you've never met before and having a really good time. Whether that be on an organised trip, with somebody you know, or on a trip where you're going out for a specific event, or just having a holiday. Make the most of it, prep before you go, and enjoy your skydiving. See you next week.